And a very good day. It's Mark here. It is 8:25 Eastern Time, 1:25 GMT. And welcome to today's session. Had a good day on the markets yesterday. Let's see how today plays out. What we did note, and I'm obviously looking at the same thing right now as the US session gets underway. Are we going to see a reversal in the US session? We saw that on so many of the instruments yesterday. Asian, European session, we see a trend develop, and we see that reverse when the US session gets started. Let's see if that works out today. And why I'm bringing it up straight away, we're starting on the dollar index as always. And so far, we can see a similar pattern to yesterday. Yesterday, we had a huge sell-off pre-US open. And then when the US market did open, we saw a fight back by the US dollar, and it came back all the way to the 108 level. I can see today came down again and looks like it could be fighting its way back a little bit. Let me just zoom in on the hourly and make that clearer. And there you can see. There's the fight back, the sell of yesterday, pre-US, US session, it fought back. Asian European session sell off again. Here's the fight back starting a little bit before the US session, but that's the kind of pattern I'm talking about. Let's see how that plays out today. Interesting that my daily EMAs have crossed to the downside, so I have to take note of that, signaling a downtrend following 2 days of the big sell-off. And I'm looking at that as opposed to an ascending trend line, loosely drawn, but an ascending trend line. And it's bounced off that for 2 days now, so we'll see how that plays out as the US session gets underway. Resistance, 108.28. 108 is the level that buyers are trying to retake and break above, where sellers are looking at the support formed yesterday at 107.55. Let's have a look at the S&P 500, bearing in mind we are an hour away from Wall Street opening. And here we're seeing the opposite of what we see on the US dollar index, where the EMAs, the moving averages, were crossing down and we had an ascending trend line. Here I see the EMAs have just crossed up following these 2 days of buying, yet I've drawn in a descending trend line. So pretty much the opposite of what we're seeing on US dollar index, which is standard. We do have an inverse relationship between the two, so we'll see how that plays out. The resistance level, 6,071. That's the high that it made yesterday. And we know that the 6,000 level is all important. It's pivotal. Buyers want to remain above the 6,000 level at all times, whereas sellers are looking to break below that 6,000 level and turn things around. Commodities, gold. I know I've still got a lot going on drawing-wise with my gold, but I like to have in this triangle, puts things in perspective for me, showing me the lower highs and the support trend line, the ascending trend line, the bottom of the triangle, showing the times that price action has bounced off this ascending trend line. Price action widened that little bit, sitting in a range between 2,613 and 2,665. That's a $50 range for now, but it started off strong today. Clearly, we can see today from the get-go at 2,633. That was the open price. Looks like gold wants to test 2,665. That's the previous resistance level. In my opinion, gold has shown a lot of resilience. And I do believe it can well test these higher levels, but we know the correlation with the US dollar, and it's unlikely we'll see both of them rally, being the US dollar and gold. Gold will have a far better shot at breaking this resistance level, breaking the descending trend line, and moving higher to the 2,700 level with a weak US dollar, something we're not seeing as yet. Oil's been strong. Oil's been strong. We've had some good trades on oil together, as you've seen. Took a bit of a breather yesterday, some profit taking. Carrying on today, the range between 75.93, let's call it 76 on the downside, and on the upside, 77. So there's that $1 range that we're sitting in right now. It is, buyers could well break through this resistance area here between the 77 and the 77.50 high we saw the day before, and that would be a strong continuation of this uptrend. And like I said, perhaps if this continues, maybe the 80 level even comes into view. But what we have done is clearly moved a whole leg higher in Brent oil, where we were trading. Have a look at support here at 72.50. There is 74.50. So this tight range, this $2,000 tight range, has moved a whole leg higher. And that new 2,000 range could now be between the 75.5 and the 77.5. So it could do some range trading, which again will give us good opportunities, selling off resistance levels, buying off support levels. That would be range trading a whole leg higher, 2 legs higher than it has been over the past few weeks. And then we get to Bitcoin. The 2K, I'm seeing a tight. I've drawn in here a relatively tight, because it's Bitcoin, $2,000 range between 100,000 and 102,000. That's where that could be the range here, which determines which way it's going to go. Meaning, buyers will want to break above this 102, 102,500, the resistance area we've seen over the last 2 days, and then continue up higher. Once it breaks above this previous resistance, above the 102, a level that's significant, you can see over there. If it does break above here and buyers, and there is demand in this area, 108 will be the target for buyers. Alternatively, if this loosely formed double top, not a real double top, however, it tells me something. It tells me buyers have tested a level and couldn't go higher. It's tested a level and couldn't go higher again, even if they're not identical levels. Let's look at the big picture here. And if it doesn't break, if this is some kind of a real resistance, sellers will want to look to break below 100 and trade below 100K as the first target on the downside. Good trading, guys. Look forward to seeing you at the end of the day, and keep that discipline.